If we get your highest visits, do we get invited back?
Yeah. We'll have return visits.
That's part of it.
Better hope you get high ones though, because if not, stock's gonna all of a sudden they won't be back. It'll be next. The episode 15. Like, okay, well, listen, Avery Dennison
back up from that.
Won't be back.
Yeah.
They got the lowest listenership.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, welcome. Episode 14, Slightly Serious Sign Podcast. This podcast voted number 1 by Avery Dennison, specifically by Tommy Fricano. So he's been listening to every episode. He's been calling me every time, wanting to be on it, crying and stuff. So he's here. We're excited about it.
Checks out.
Yeah, you're good?
No, that checks out.
All right. So we're going to talk about Avery Dennison. We're going to talk specifically to Tommy and Abby. We're going to get their backgrounds. We're going to see what they're like, what's coming out. So we'll start right out. Oh, and by the way, we have to say this. Tyler's not here. I didn't fire him. He's just not here. He's busy doing a rap class in another location.
And I'm scared because he didn't write any of the questions.
Yeah, and Tyler's the one, obviously, that's the most organized. So I had to do my own questions and get myself organized. He didn't even help me. So he may be fired. So if anyone wants to step in, give me a shout. Okay. Who wants to start? Abby, Tommy, who wants to start?
Tommy can go.
Okay, Tommy, start. Go give us your background. How did you get to Avery Dennison? What did you do before that? And what you're doing now for Avery Dennison.
How much time do we have?
Much as you want.
Yeah,
just go.
30 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So again, Tommy Fricano. I've been with Avery Dennison 9 years. Been in the graphics industry about 13 years. Prior to that, I was a golf professional. And moved down to Texas right out of school, went to Fair State locally for professional golf management, which is basically a business degree with a little bit of background in teaching and testing for the PGA.
Do you do golfing too? Do you golf every day? No. Just teaching about the game.
This is I was gonna say this is my boss, right?
No,
so,
I mean when you're at school, did they have to golf or is it just?
So that's part of it. Yeah. So when you're tested by the PGA, not only are you doing, typical Scantron tests of things that are happening within the golf industry and stuff that you have to know operationally or otherwise, but you have to play too. So you have to...
I wouldn't be able to do it then.
You have to, well, I would say that's one of the harder tops or like spots as well to do that is because it's, it's a pressure packed round. There's people that are really good players that go into it and can't pass the playability test, so they can't move on and do all these things.
Is it a certain score or you just have to be able to... Oh, geez.
So you have to shoot 6 over or better for 2 consecutive rounds. So you basically have to hold a handicap of 6 or lower.
I could do it. I could probably stay within 6 over by at least hole 2.
I mean, you want
maybe hole 3. If I'm hitting it really good, I'd be 6. I could be 6 over in 3 holes.
Yeah. Yep.
But that'd have to be a special day.
So I went through that. So it's about a 5.5 year. Yeah. 5.5 year major.
It's not how you play the game, Abby. It's whether you win or lose.
So 5.5 year major through Fair State. I moved down to Texas as my last internship. You do 15 months of internships with it as well. And then latched onto a really new company, kind of up and coming. They bought and managed all of the golf courses for the city of San Antonio. So some pretty old places. A.W. Tillinghast Designs back in like the early 1900s. Played a lot of Texas Opens at them. Enjoyed it. And then hired a guy out of school that was cutting a automotive product out of his apartment, selling it into car forums. And then we kind of took that from there and built it into a business of distributing Avery Dennison products and other products in the marketplace. And then one thing led to another. Wanted to get on the manufacturing side and latched on to Avery Dennison. We like the products, we like the people, the culture. So it was a good fit.
Okay, here's what you missed. At some point in there, did you not get married and have kids and stuff, or did you want to say anything about your family?
Yeah.
This is why did you go first?
No, I was going to say, right? Yeah.
You're taking the heat first.
I have 2 kids, a 7-year-old and a 2-year-old. The 2-year-old's actually the 4th of Thomas Joseph Fricano's, which has been really, really enjoyable because now we get mixed up all the time on everything. But
now you know how your parents felt when they named you that too.
Well, that's why I always went by Tommy, actually. That's why it's never been Tom. So what do you look at me and call me Tom, right?
No.
So what do you call your son then?
So TJ.
Oh.
So he's got his own kind of individuality.
Nice. That's Tristan, my middle son. He's TJ, but...
Well, you guys have all different Tater, Tristan,
Tyler.
Yeah.
So, but go ahead.
And then my daughter's 7. And then my wife, we've been together almost 20 years. We met in 2004.
Where'd you meet? School?
School. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now what do you do?
So I'm the sales manager for the Western region in graphics. So I handle basically everything west of the Mississippi and Western Canada.
Which, to clear that up, he lives 10 minutes from right here.
Well, here's the thing, though.
But he's not in our account. But he's not in charge of our account.
No.
Like, him and I live less than 10 minutes apart. He's 10 minutes from right here, and he's not in charge of our account.
No, that's
you
correct.
You don't like us, or?
Would you want him to be in charge of your account?
Do I have to? I can't. I decline to comment.
Wait, you can do that?
Yeah, whatever you need.
Well, I mean, we do have history here. We kind of,
Yes.
yeah,
you walked into here when, there was a lot of bad blood between Wensco and Avery and
Dennison.
Avery Dennison. I gotta remember to say that. A lot of bad blood and I think you're the ones that originally got us to sign up. It was, I can't remember the other two people that were at the time, but I remember I was actually on vacation, but it was a NASSD event. Avery Dennison was going. Judy said, you got to go. I'm like, no, I'm on vacation. Next thing you know, she goes, well, I bought you a ticket. So I'm like, I was trying to cancel vacation, get out there. So make sure we signed you guys up. And then the rest is history.
Yeah, it's been a great relationship together since then.
Yeah, it's been fun.
But to clear things up, I am further west than my counterpart who lives in Ohio. So I mean, you got Michigan, Ohio, right? So naturally, I handle everything west of. Does that make sense?
I mean, that's barely west, right? Yeah. I mean, you don't go. It's 2 hours, maybe. Yeah, it's only about 2.5 hours west,
right?
In the United States, but yeah. Okay, understandable.
You found good talent.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. Okay, Abby, you're up. What'd you
I'm a little bit nervous.
All right, go ahead.
Because it's Mike. So I'm Abby Monnot. I manage the graphics division in North America. I've been at Avery Dennison 10 years. Before that, I guess I actually grew up near Toledo, Ohio, so near Cedar Point. So anyone who goes to the roller coast, that's where I grew up. And then went to school at Kent State, graduated with more of a marketing lens, and then went on to go to American Greetings, where I actually managed some holidays in retail. And then I went to an electric utility, so First Energy, which is a company out of Ohio, and they do a lot of electric utility work. And then they downsized and I was let go. And so then I did real estate for a couple of years, and I was showing a house in Menor, Ohio, which is over on the east side of Cleveland. And the person I was showing a house to was like, I don't want to live by this massive building. Like, whose building is this? And I had looked it up, and it was Avery Dennison. And I said, oh, I kind of applied there out of college, and I didn't hear anything from them. And then the next day they called me to interview. And so I started as a analyst and kind of worked my way up over the last 10 years to this position. I have a husband.
I was wondering if I was going to have to interrupt. Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So my husband actually works at First Energy. That's where we met. And then I have 2 kids, 2 boys, 6 and 3.
Either one of you going to have more kids?
No.
Nope.
Just 2?
Yeah, that's it.
You know, it takes more than 2 kids to pay for 2 parents.
I think I convinced him to have his second kid.
To keep America alive, you're supposed to have minimum 3. It's like 2.2 kids to pay for 2 parents. So
I mean, I round down.
You guys aren't doing your part.
2.2, I'm rounding down to 2.
No, that's at least that much.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Like you're 200,000 short. Like to get it's like
well, inflation nowadays, like.
It is. I do feel sorry for any parents right now raising kids, because the amount of groceries, like I wouldn't have been able to afford it. I had 3 teenage boys at one time, plus Philip, my extra kid that decided just to move in with us one day and never moved back out.
Yep.
So you had 4 teenage boys in the house at the same time, and
I don't know how you afforded it.
Groceries would have been, I mean, they were crazy then. They're worse now.
Yeah.
So, the other thing I want to say, and I'll say this, and don't think I'm like trying to be overly nice, but
we would never think that.
Shocker.
I wanted to say this, and I'll say it to both of you. I watch a lot of companies. I watch a lot of companies promote people, and I watch a lot of companies promote people that are just like, oh, well, he was a good fork truck driver for 14 years. We might as well put him in charge of this and end him in charge of that. And I can say with both of you guys, like, you're in the right spots. Like when you moved up Tommy, I'm like, okay, that's the right move. Like, you're not just like, oh, let's find some guy from the label division that can run a different division. You have to know the area. And same with you when they promoted you. Like, it's like, okay, finally there's a company that gets it. Like, you have to understand our market. You can't just grab someone from anywhere and put them in. And I'm glad that Avery Dennison did it. Like it shows within your company. And the other thing I really like about Avery Dennison is you're open about everybody. Like I don't just know you. I mean, you're not my rep in what you are, but obviously I know you guys. That's another thing we really like about Avery Dennison that not everybody does. So
I know I saw a feed the other day where I think Molly, our technical person, was, we belong to all the groups on social media. And so we're always trying to help where we can. And I think Molly had responded, to somebody's request, and they said, oh, Avery Dennison has technical reps that I can talk to. And we are, I mean, we're a really kind of smaller business within the larger corporation. We have a family feel. We treat everybody that way. We're extremely transparent. And, I mean, people have been calling me, WhatsApping me, texting me, whenever. And that's how we like to do business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And when we like, I mean, one of the reasons we started this was everybody sees these big companies. You see Avery Dennison's huge company. Even, you mentioned even 3M. 3M's a big company, but when you boil it right down to it, we're just people. Like it's just regular people that are running, some large companies sometimes, but it's just when it boils right down to it, we're the same people that go home to our family at the end of the night. Or,
I think once you get in this industry too, like it just takes hold and you're just like this. I mean, it's a great industry.
Yeah. I think you get into it, you realize
you get sucked in
very quickly how great of an industry it is.
Yeah.
And I mean, I think the first year when I joined in the business, it was like, you're never going to get out. It's like, okay, yeah, I mean, I'll be in it for a couple of years and find something else. And the people are great. To your point on social media, I mean, you and I will be pinging at like 11 o'clock at night. Like, hey, did you see somebody said, hey, we need to, So, I mean, we enjoy not only the culture of Avery Dennison, but we also just enjoy the business and talking to people, learning about their backgrounds. I mean, there's 75,000 sign shops and everyone has a really interesting story.
Yeah. And we've said on podcasts before, though, when you look at them, though, they're all the same people. Mm-hmm. Like when you boil them down, like, okay, there's this group of people, there's this group of people, the sign people are like, for the most part, they're all the same people. Mm-hmm. And what you used to have in like the neon guys, they were like I don't want to say they're the weird group, but they were like the different group. And then they just turned into rap guys. Yeah. Like the old neon guys. And now the guys that just rap are the same people. Like they just like, you wonder like, how do these people make it? And then you see the rap guys and like, oh, it's the same people I dealt with 20 years ago that were doing neon. Yeah. So, all right, let's move on. What about you guys that belong to NASSD? Is Tommy going to NASSD this year?
Oh, why is this coming up? No,
I'm just curious if Tommy's going.
We're rotating. We're rotating.
What?
For exposure.
Do you guys need a loan or something? Because, I mean, you could get three people can go.
That would be a lot of Avery Dennison people right after SEMA.
Yep.
Oh, I love how you put it right after SEMA, too.
That's not a busy week for us.
Not a busy week.
But here's the thing, though. If you don't want to go, I mean, I'd be more than happy to step in.
Yeah, Bethany, our marketing director, will be going this year.
Yeah, Bethany and I have talked about.
Bethany and who else is going?
Myself.
No, Tommy. I'm just curious. Okay.
Not this year.
You can petition that. You already said you're going to petition.
Well, we'll talk about. I mean, obviously, hey, if people could text in, if you guys really want Tommy there, just shoot us a little message.
My phone.
Shoot us a message.
I'll hear from a couple people.
I mean, I like Bethany too. She's probably smarter than you, Tommy. So
I don't doubt that.
But you'll catch us on the wine tour, not the golf.
I don't golf either, so that's probably a good thing because with the wine. Did you do the wine last time?
Yeah.
Yeah, it got a little bit much, but because my wife doesn't drink, so then I'm just like drinking 2 at a time. And
you don't have to do that.
I didn't want to waste it, like it's. I mean, someone paid for this. I think it's.
You got a little out of hand. Don't say we.
I wasn't out of hand. I was completely under control. Just that's too much wine. Like that's a lot of like sugar and stuff.
That's a great event too, though.
Yeah,
it's the collaboration that goes in, and again, kind of goes hand in hand with CPAC, right? It's just at a little bit of a different lens.
Yeah.
So it's fun as a manufacturer to be there and get to spend time with people just all around the industry, bounce around ideas, all those other things.
Yeah, it is. I'm sorry, it is right after SEMA, but it usually is usually that time of year usually sucks because usually Print United's right in there too. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of
change though this year, right?
Yeah, it's way early. Yeah. But
so I home from SEMA from Vegas to be home for I think a day and a half this time, then go back out to California. Thank you, Mike, for your planning.
I am simply just renting a car and driving over there. Like why go home for like one day?
Family matters.
That is a very good choice.
It is.
I will tell you right now, I did not do that when I was younger, and luckily I have the boys work with us now that I can actually mentor them now and see them now. But like when they were kids, that was not. I was the bad dad that didn't go home. Don't do that. If you're listening, don't do that.
Don't do that.
Like, 'cause you might not have that second chance. Like I have that second chance where I see him every day now. I see him too much probably now, but
I mean, I would
We'll
say
have to ask them. Too bad they're not here to ask.
if they came in here, they'd say, "Oh, we love my dad. He's the greatest."
You can't, the camera or mic wouldn't even change the way that they would talk about it. I mean, you and Tyler and the background that you guys have during the, I mean, come on.
You have to do a Father's Day episode.
Oh, we will definitely do a Father's Day episode, and I'm gonna open whatever gift they get me, so that way they have to get me something good. Right?
On air?
It's only fair. On air. I'll open my gift on air.
Not even take a peek beforehand.
No.
Okay.
That way they'll get me something good.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, I'll get nothing. Like it's actually, what they get
What
me?
if they just got you nothing, even though it's the podcast?
Yeah, that's what I actually think would happen.
Where's my gift? Well, sorry.
Or
Forgot
it's something
again.
ridiculous that you're embarrassed to open. Well, you're never really embarrassed.
You ain't gonna embarrass me.
That's
No.
true.
So for the most part, I mean they could, I guess, but
No.
so let's talk about Avery Dennison. Let's talk about any future products you can talk about. And I know there's probably a lot of stuff you can't talk about because you're going to introduce it later, but anything or if it's not future products, like products that you're excited about, products Avery Dennison sees moving up that more people should know about, because I know we don't do a very good job promoting some of your stuff, like especially your paint protection film and window tint and all that.
MPI 2105.
What's that?
MPI 2105. I mean, that's the
Is that like intermediate?
high performance.
Yeah. There's products that we just don't like use. I mean, you obviously see our sales. Like there's products that get lost in the shuffle with any distributor.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, we think
this is your
about the
chance to
business, I think,
push
a
'em out.
little differently, where we've kind of got automotive and we've got branding and then we've got kind of architecture. So we've got products suited for full solutions in each of those segments. So I think our biggest ones that people know us for are just Supreme wrapping film, which are, I mean, and my team's probably going to text me when I mess up how many colors we have, but it's at least over 135 that are all now readily available.
You see the colors in front of us right here, too.
Yeah.
So people that are watching on
Wonderful
YouTube.
gamut. So we'll continue to innovate there. There might be some stuff coming for SEMA
Maybe.
for that. But then, yes, we do have paint
colors?
protection film.
Maybe.
We do have,
guys
that's where I have to stop.
Do you guys want me in the booth wrapping at SEMA? I can wrap something.
Have you
Just
done a
need me in
hood
there?
yet at the,
No, have you done the test? Have you done the PPF test, the cut test?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, you have to get, so if anyone's at SEMA, they have to come do the cut test.
Oh,
So,
I got it. No problem.
yeah.
I'll wreck something.
I mean,
Yeah,
Abby
so
was
the
like
wrapping.
third for half the day on day one or something.
Yeah.
Oh, it must be super easy then.
No. Definitely
I
not
don't know
easy.
what happened.
You were practicing a bunch of times?
I'm really good under pressure. So it's a cool test, and it'll bing if you cut through the film. Because like if you're wrapping a car, you don't obviously want to cut
Yeah,
through,
yeah.
and it'll bing at you, and then you have to start over.
Oh, I've seen those. We had those at rap classes before.
Yep.
Where like they buzz. I think they should shock you though.
Yours and your
a
booth
buzz-
gets
I was
gonna
shocked.
say, we can't do that number.
really
A
wanna
buzz
shock
is
people.
okay, but like if it shocked you, like, well, it's just a better experience.
No, absolutely not. So yeah, we have paint protection film that we launched a few years ago, and then we've got obviously the wrapping film, and then yes, we've got window tints, automotive window films for automotive.
Where do you see colored paint protection film fitting in the market? I know you guys all seen it, but I don't
Yeah.
see it. I don't see it out there. I've seen it way more at shows than I've seen it in shops.
Yeah.
So, I mean, coming from the automotive space, it took a while for wrapping film really to catch on. And now you said it earlier about the neon shops are just like the wrapping shops. I mean, wrap is, if you're a PPF shop, chances are you've messed with wrap. If you're a tint shop, chances are you've messed with that, or vice versa. There was a lot of that during some of the COVID times and otherwise of people kind of differentiating their business. But it's interesting because PPF still hasn't really grabbed on yet, and it's a pretty big portion of the automotive and OEM space. But not everybody knows what paint protection film is. So it's even more difficult when you take it to now you got to do a full car of color and you got to sell that. And so many different people have that product available now at this point, that what's the differentiator is kind of the trouble with it. But it's certainly a disruptor, and it's been a disruptor for a little over a year and a half now with all the manufacturers that have come out. You see it everywhere at SEMA now.
Yeah, it's one of the show, like we talk about it internally here all the time, like things that we only see at the show. That's one of the things you only see it at the show. And there's other equipment that's the same way. Like, okay, we see different equipment. We only see that equipment at the show. Like everybody's pushing it, but I don't see a lot of people doing it yet. But
yeah, I think too, it's more about that's the technology. But if we ask like the industry and say, hey, you know, what do you guys need? Like, what is it that you don't have that you need? And right now, TPU product is what's doing that need, whatever that need is. So I think it's just a technology outlet that is servicing either of its durability or scratch resistance or whatever. It's servicing some sort of need in the industry. And so I think it's kind of figuring out what is the industry looking for that we can make, and how is that the right platform to do it, or technical platform. So for us, we're always trying to ask. So some of you have gotten our surveys, or you know, we've asked you for insight or asked you for feedback. That's because we really want to make something that you guys need, or that the industry is looking for, instead of saying, oh, you know, we think we know. Well, we don't know unless somebody tells us. So it'll be interesting to see where it goes.
Yeah, I do notice that Avery Dennison specifically, out of the other vinyl manufacturers, you're ahead of the curve when it comes to even like the colors. So you know you're doing the research. Like, you guys are introducing colors before they're popular, and a lot of others are introducing them after they're popular. So like, you'll see like when you guys introduced like that, like the beige, I think it was beige, and then the year after that, did you see how many cars came out beige? Yeah. Like literally the following year, the 2 years later, all the cars were beige. And for the most part, you can tell, like, obviously that's market research, right? Like, it wasn't a guess.
Well, the top selling films I think that everybody sees are actually your pretty basic colors, right? Like
blacks, white, grays, reds, a couple blues. But that's also why we solicit feedback too, right? I mean, that's to your point on surveys or getting installers involved and kind of seeing what they're seeing in the marketplace.
I think paint too. I mean, paint has its trends, and I think fashion has its trends, and they all kind of merge.
Right.
Europe usually is the one starting some of those trends, and we see it come over here. So there's a lot of things that we sort of watch to try to figure that out.
Yeah, I just was making the point, like, you guys are watching it. Like, it's not like, oh, they're making a teal, we should make a teal. Like, that was back in like the late 80s, was like, oh, teal, you know. Like the car, the most famous teal car was like the Beretta, the Chevy Beretta was like, came up with the first car that came out, I think, with a teal. Someone can fact check me on that.
Yeah. SEMA
but like then all of a sudden everybody had teal, and all of a sudden, like, even here, like, we used to have teal Sentra. Like, teal doesn't exist anymore. Like, it's, you ask one of these young kids, you say teal, like, what color is that? So, but you know, like I said, you're well ahead of the trend.
I mean, the color flow obviously was a big hit.
Still
is a big hit. Rugged is another one that every time we put it on a car at the show, you can't take it off.
So Rugged was inspired by, 2018 or 2019 SEMA, where everybody was spraying bed liner, Rhino liner on their cars. And we said, well, why don't we make a film that mimics Rhino liner, because then they don't have to ruin their car doing that. And so it was really actually inspired from the trends we saw at SEMA. And so there's a couple of colors of the Rugged series, like black and green, gray, that look like Rhino liner or bed liner.
Can you talk about installing it? Because we used to get the questions, and I would always try to convince them the best way I could, but I don't know if you have a better talking point. Like, they're more worried, like, oh, if it's all bumpy like that, does it go down smooth?
Yeah, I mean, I would say technology is the same across all of our products. You see things where, you know, your glosses and your mattes are a lot easier to install than your chromes and your textured films. So yeah, it's got its difficulties, but as far as the feedback that we get on how to install Rugged, and even at the shows, I mean, the feedback is extremely positive. And you can do full cars. I mean, there's chrome. It took a while for chrome really to catch on to do full cars. I mean, how long was it until that? You see it all over the place now, right? But
yeah, we did.
We launched Rugged during COVID, though, so that was kind of the downfall, is that we were trying to innovate during a time where all of us were just trying to, like, survive and bridge the raw materials.
Just trying to, like, get people to make material or get material. Actually, it wasn't even getting to make; it was probably getting it to get products or raw materials in.
Yeah, I mean, that's why we prioritized certain product lines and did other things that way, because you had to at that moment in time.
Yeah, but we did the same thing, like, especially with your 1105. You know, 1105, everybody was behind. Like, you can't just say it was Avery Dennison, it was everybody. Yeah. But if you didn't buy 1105 from us prior to COVID, you weren't allowed to buy it from us during COVID.
Well, and I think,
like, we'd look your history up. No, you didn't buy it before. You're not buying it from us now. Yeah. And then we only let them buy one or two at a time based off their history. So if they were only ever buying one or two at a time, that's all they could buy at a time. Yeah. So we just kept the people we had, and I wish more people would have done that because it would have been a lot easier for you guys too.
Well, I think the allocation trickled down into the value chain where we felt like we came out with it very early, but in actuality, we probably should have done even earlier than when we did. But it started working its way down to the channel partners and then got into even the customers too, because you had to, at that point in time, you had to take care of your top customers.
Yeah, it was the nature. I think it was me personally, it was a good thing to go through. It's a good thing for America to go through. Like, cause give you that sense of like, hey, this isn't always just going to be easy. It's kind of like the world can get tough in a hurry.
Yeah.
I mean, we all deal with change in business. Now you deal with it a heck of a lot easier because you had to do it every single day in COVID.
Yeah, you're just
right? Well, if you weren't agile,
and I think teams got closer too.
Totally.
Like our team, we know, when you go through the trenches with people, you already have a good level of trust in your team. And I think Avery Dennison, that's why I've stayed in this team so long, is the collaboration and the trust is extremely high. But when you go through all that and you come out better as people, as leaders, as listeners, that's something to say, where you don't just get that overnight either. You don't go through the trenches like that on a daily basis.
No.
And that was, 2 to 3 years of what's next. And
yeah, we had this, the same thing here. Like, you didn't know what was going to happen day to day, what you're going to be out of, and who was going to do what job. We had our sales reps delivering because at that point you couldn't send a sales rep into a shop, but like they still need to see a sales rep. Well, how do you do that? Well, you make them deliver.
Yeah.
So like we had guys that have never picked up anything over 4 pounds in their life now have to carry a 45-pound box in, and it was funny to see in the beginning, but they got used to it. They got a little stronger as they went on. They realized, don't wear your suit coat.
What were you doing during COVID?
Didn't have a suit coat on.
What extra job did you do?
I don't think there's anything extra that I couldn't do around here because I literally do it. Like, I'll load trucks, I'll stock shelf. Today I got up and, you guys, I don't think you guys walked back there yet. It was pretty trash back here in the shop. And I just started throwing the trash out into the middle aisle on the things and then started sweeping up. And then all of a sudden, it's amazing. All other 3 guys in the warehouse started sweeping when they saw me sweeping. And I thought the wrong shirt. I wore a white shirt. I'm out there sweeping. There were some tires out here. I was putting them up on the shelves and stuff. And like all of a sudden everybody else starts working. But yeah, to say that there's nothing I don't do. Like as
you
far as
just lead
goes.
by example, Mike.
Yeah, I just got out there and started sweeping. I didn't have to say anything. Well, eventually I did say something, but I didn't have to say anything.
I can't imagine you didn't say something.
I didn't say anything in the beginning. I just got out there. I started getting the trash out and cleaning up. And then it's amazing. Everybody else just started cleaning up.
Yep.
Lead by example.
That's right. Yeah. And I think the whole shop knows there's nothing I won't do. Like, I don't care. Like,
yeah.
I actually enjoy the physical part of any work.
Sure.
Like, so, and that's what we do. All we do is we check in boxes, we put them on a shelf, we pull them back off, we bring them to the customer.
Yeah.
That's not all, but.
Well, that's the dumbed down version. Like, when they say, hey, dumb your job down, we move boxes. Like, that's what we do. And
if you dumb it down, we make sticky things, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, you make stickers.
Yeah.
Fake stickers.
So, yeah.
Okay. Let's talk about Avery Dennison. Let's talk about, probably know the history, where it started, where it's at now.
Yeah. So random fact, Avery Dennison is going to be 90 years old next year. It was started by Stan Avery, who actually made the world's first pressure-sensitive adhesive.
Do you know what question label. I'm going to ask?
No.
What was the first company called? What was the sticker called?
It was actually called the Come Clean label. So it was a round pricing sticker, and he made the world's first pressure-sensitive adhesive label that was a round pricing label. And then he
was he just mixing stuff in his garage?
It was $100 loan. And yeah, a very, innovative mindset. And he was in California, and he then partnered with Dennison Manufacturing, who was out of Cleveland, Ohio. So Avery Dennison their headquarters is actually in Menor, Ohio, which is right outside of Cleveland. And that's how Avery Dennison was sort of built, off a $100 loan and one person and his dream.
It's unbelievable how some of these companies start. Like, just even Wensco, we're just, he owned a radio shop, and hey, do you want to do anything with signs? Oh yeah, let's do it. And here we are. So Tommy, the question I got for you is, and the people in Grand Rapids, everybody's going to know this. Fricano's Pizza, that's your family,
yep.
But I think is uncle, the one on Alpine's your uncle or cousin?
Yeah, that's fair.
So, okay. Anyways, their sign is pathetic. And I'm sorry if you're listening and that's your business, is your Tommy's uncle, whatever it is. But
you're going to have all listeners from everywhere now.
Yeah.
That's going to...
Sign guys, every single sign guy in Grand Rapids, stop in there, get a pizza, and ask them if you can make them a new sign.
I'm surprised you haven't just knocked on the door to get them a new sign.
I said I was very close. Like, the tornado went through there, last year? I'm like, I was hoping driving down Alpine to hit their sign, but it didn't.
Is it a vinyl sign? What kind of sign is it?
It's a big pan face sign that's backlit, but it's really faded, and you can see every bulb behind it.
We'll stand by our pizza, not the sign. How about that?
I'm telling you right now,
the
that
sign
place
doesn't sell the pizza.
That place
I've had the pizza.
Yeah, that's right. You have had the pizza.
That place is packed on Friday nights, Saturday nights, like those nights. It's packed. I know he can afford.
You have to know somebody to get in.
Yeah, there you go.
I know he can afford a new sign, so maybe you could talk to him too, or.
Sure.
Every sign guy in Grand Rapids.
I mean, you've talked about this for 5 years now, I think.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
Like, I have to drive by it 3-4 times a week or more. Every single time I drive by it, I'm like, that dang sign.
Mm-hmm.
Is there another sign that drives you just as nuts?
No, that's about the only one.
Oh, okay.
Every sign, when you're in the sign business, especially when it's the three boys, every sign that's done bad, bothers you.
We do. There's Avery Dennison, they're a $9 billion company, and they do labels to RFID to reflective to tapes. I mean, the gamut is wide in terms of where we specialize. So all of the Cleveland, Ohio reflective signs, you can't see anything in the dark. They're just not reflective anymore. And so I always am like, hey, can we just fix that? Because you're lucky I know Cleveland, but I wouldn't know where to go if I couldn't see anything. So I feel like that too, where I'm walking through places or I'm looking at the back of the vinyl. Is that ours? What is that?
Yeah. And we've all seen the highway signs that at night all of a sudden it's missing some of the reflective, so you cannot read it anymore.
That's exactly all. All the east side of Cleveland is that way.
Yeah, it's bad. But we also like to see, you walk up to us.
You can't unsee it because you're in the industry and you can't unsee it.
Right.
Or something's crooked.
Well, that's why you start picking at things when you're walking.
Oh, we do the same thing. But we've seen a lot of signs around here or through Michigan that have because our name brand is Alpha. So we'll see signs that they never peeled the sticker off the back. So you're walking up and you see the back, it still says Alpha Panel on the back. Or, it's even our local, there's a Chinese restaurant that we all like to eat at all the time. And their sign that said Kids Night or whatever was the Alpha Panel sign. And as you're leaving, it's in the window. As you're leaving, instead of they should have
free advertising.
They should have printed something on the back.
Yep.
And so just at Alpha Panel. So we see Alpha Panel just about everywhere we go. And if I see maybe it's B-Bond or something, we just take that sucker right down. They don't need that. That's the glance.
I will do a plug too. We are always, I think because we've, many of the listeners have been in the industry for such a long time, we're always looking for photos of when you're using Avery Dennison products. It could be a basic sign. It could be a wall. It could be a floor. It doesn't matter. We're always looking for that stuff to help highlight and cross-promote and tag your businesses. So
where can they send it?
Plug. They can send it.
We can put the link in the description. How about that?
An email.
The link will be in the description.
Enter here.
It would be a generic
I've always wanted to say
It'll
that.
be a generic email, but we will take them. We will take the signs. We'll take anything that you guys have done on our products because we love to be able to promote those businesses and what they're doing.
Perfect. What's another question? What scares Avery Dennison as far as the future? Is there any technology out there that kind of scares you? And when I talk about this, I think of I see these windows that now they're millimeter thick that can be an ad. That takes away all your window per final. Is there anything else in the industry that's scary? Technology we should squish so we can stay in the sign industry?
I mean, I would just say in the signage in general, digital signs, right? I mean, you see those all the time through Vegas.
Yep.
Rolling up and down the street.
Yeah, I think for me, I guess I'm more optimistic on. I think it is going to evolve and it is going to change, but it'll be kind of where is it going? And I think there's enough industry there for everybody to compete and to be in that space. So for us, I think, and we've seen it, and it's coming out as just. And I was trying to kind of say, back in the day, you were doing stereos in your car. You were putting them in a car stereo shop with the subs in the back. And now, that's more at the OEM level, for that stuff. So I think things are just going to be pulled through different channels, maybe in the future, or different ways of kind of going to the industry. But I mean, again, I think that, we've seen just cut vinyl going more digital, right? So there's some underlying trends, but to me, I still think it stays there.
I would agree with you. There's not much that that scares me on the market. The only thing that really scares me is some of the items become more of a commodity. So like, will they end up on Amazon? Will they end up, someplace like that?
But it's up to us to innovate, right? To kind of keep us out of that commodity.
And it's up, you guys innovate, and it should be up to our distributors to we got to push that product. So we got to push it out to the market as best we can for you guys, because obviously we want to sell it too.
Yeah.
So there's not much that for me, like there's so much in the sign industry. It's not going anywhere.
I think AI is going to change a lot.
It already is, right?
Yeah, I mean
it's already changing it on the design side. I mean, you see it all over the place.
Oh, there's so much. There's so many things I could do that I could never actually do.
Do you do Chat GPT?
Yeah.
You guys use it here?
Yeah. Well, we don't use it. I don't think company-wide we don't use it, but I'll use it for quite often. So. Just
if
because
I'm fact checking or looking something up or trying to write something,
I'm terrible at writing stuff. Like this is not me.
So if you write me an email and it doesn't sound like you, I'm just going to assume it's ChatGPT.
Yeah, you can just assume it.
Okay.
You can just assume it right from the start. But unless it's like less than a sentence and there's no period, then it probably came from me.
Right.
I'm like, this is weird. Is that really Mike? Who is it?
Actually,
AI bot.
Most of my emails are like, yes, no, just right back to like.
I don't even think you've ever emailed me. I think you've only texted me.
It's probably right too.
I'm pretty sure.
So I don't. But
I think that's a big one. I think that'll change a lot of just like the workflow and how people think about design in the future. And I think it's just going to unlock a lot of different creative aspects of what we do.
I mean, it's a visual industry, right? You take the Supreme wrapping film deck and put it up to next to somebody's car and say, okay, is your car going to look good in this color? You can do it now with AI. You can do it with visualizers on our website. So many different ways to actually see it in person rather than actually going to a design platform and changing a car color and taking the time to do that. So it's speeding things up as well in the selling process. Yeah,
I even think about it, and we got to probably wrap up pretty soon, but I think about like even the car buying process, like how that's changed. Like you would have never bought a car without driving it first.
Vending machine, basically.
You would have never bought it. Like
you can buy them on Amazon now, can't you?
Yeah. Well, just the last car we bought, we're like, just send it to us.
Oh yeah, the Carvana vending machines.
Yeah, the vending machine.
Like, deliver it, and it comes here, and we pay for it.
Trial period. Do you like it? Yes, no. Check the box and take the car home.
Everything's changing. Okay,
it's exciting though.
That wraps it up. Any final thoughts?
Wraps it up. I see what you did there.
That was good.
You
Good pun.
didn't even know.
Any other last minute questions?
I don't have any last minute questions. I thank you both for coming. It was a good time, and
you invited us just to set the record straight.
Yeah, you guys are our number one priority when it comes to vinyl.
That was the first thing you said. Did I say?
There was a lot of chatter before.
So if I'm going, Abby's going.
Yeah. So that's why we had to have you first. You're number one. So Arlon, 3M.
Stop it.
But no, we're really here to help the industry. So, I mean, that's all we could say is, get a hold of us. Doesn't matter who it is, how you reach in, the people we're here to help whenever anybody needs it.
Yeah, reach out to your rep if you need something.
All right. And I'll see both of you at NASSD, or?
We'll see you at the CPAC meeting.
Oh, yeah.
And NASSD.
I know. I'm going to ignore that comment.
I don't see, 3 people can go. Just keep pushing it. 3 people can go.
I don't think there's a week that goes by that it's not brought up.
Well, it's not even me pitching it. It's customers that are pitching it, which I appreciate you guys, but the customers are pitching it.
Yeah, they want your insight.
The hardest one pitching it is sitting kind of in this room.
Yeah. But I think, again, you talk about like reaching out to your rep and having conversations with your rep. I mean, we want that. We need that. You make us better. The culture at Avery Dennison is a family culture. It feels like a family-owned business. It's small. It's entrepreneurial. I mean, that's why I feel like we relate so well to sign shops, and we want different viewpoints. We need that to keep the business going forward.
Perfect. All right. Well, that ends episode
14.
The best episode.
14. Yeah. 14. The best episode yet. We'll see if it gets the most viewers. If not, they won't be welcome back.
View. We want to repeat.
So watch it on YouTube, because I think we're almost there, Rick. Rick, are we almost there? We're almost there. So we need a few more views on YouTube. So Sign Outlet and GSG has to pay us to put their ads on us now. Thank you. That's the end.
That was the end.